Back home. Gentlemen, from last week, I have arrived back in the beautiful city of Tampa Bay. Oh, I survived, gentlemen. I survived the cruise. I got back safe and sound. It was an incredible trip, though, however, I will say. I'm so glad I got to spend it out with you guys as well, too. And of course, like the first thing that I'm supposed to be saying on a call like this, right, is Happy New Year. But today I'm going to switch things around here. Today, what we're going to understand is this New Year concept. I've been talking a lot of shit about this New Year stuff. I've been talking a lot of shit about New Year's because I want to say this in a way that's going to make sense. I said it last week as well. We do not need to wait for a date. We don't need to wait for a brilliant New Year's or a number change. It's a number change. It's just 2025. Great. It's awesome. It's a new year. Cool calendar. But that should make no difference on what we are doing every single day towards our goals, towards our ambitions, towards everything. We don't need a day to signify that with New Year's resolutions. This is a way to disappoint yourself, really. You set expectations, what happens? Disappointments follow. So today, I want to say it. I have nothing against it. I have nothing against New Year's, but I do want to just put, I wrote this down here as well, too. I just want this, but why? Why do we have to wait? Like, why do we have to wait for a day? Why do we have to wait for something to hit big, like hitting the lottery or pulling that one crypto or that stock that's going to make you $1 million? Why do we have to wait until adversity when we fucking have hit rock bottom before we decide to change behavior? Like, if you think about it, a lot of people are like, wow, New Year's, the date. Okay. Other people are like, yo, I'm going to hit this one get rich quick scheme and it's going to make me all the money and I'm going to make it all back and it's going to happen overnight. And then lastly, you just get forced into a position of death, divide, divorce, things that could just throw you off, a rock bottom that you may hit in your life as a man. And then we decide, okay, now that I hit it, now that something happened, okay, now I can make a move. Like, that's not the mentality that I want to share starting off the gate. So this isn't going to be a Happy New Year call. This isn't going to be just like, let's all motivate and get pumped up, because again, I wanted this to be clear and focused. And while we get a couple more gentlemen, that are jumping in on the call, I see a couple of you guys coming in. Julian in the house, Lou in the house, Daniel showing up, my man Ron's in the house, Keyshawn, my guy, Luke, Joe. As a couple more guys come in, us men are prone to this. We're prone to having to, have a situation happen before we decide to change course. Why is it? Now you may ask. We're not very good at emotionalizing, are we, gents? We're not really good at emotionalizing. So when we're in the position of thinking out of emotion, we usually do a lot of bad things. We usually swear, we get loud, we sometimes drink too much, we do commonality, some common bullshit that gets portrayed on us, which is fair because we've done it. But us men are so prone to this on getting ourselves involved in this vicious cycle. So today is about breaking that. And it's about understanding some basic principles, of course, but in a different way, because, as I look around the room and I see Alexander coming in and I see David in the house and Dustin and Alexa as well, too. I want everyone to just realize this. This call, the starting, of the year, the calendar year, has been going on for 2.5 years. Every single Thursday, we show up here at 8 p.m. consistently. Now, I'm not looking for a New Year's. I'm just looking because I got something consistent down the lane. I want to show up for my brothers, and that's it. I make a commitment, and I hold myself to it. And if I ever break that commitment, guess what? I'm going to come show up, and I'm going to say, guys, I acknowledge I was not able to make it, and I'm going to recommit. Very simple. Very simple. The minute we overcomplicate that, we start to get into our own worlds, and we start to say, I got the best plan, or I can figure this out. And then our judgment, ego, fear, Jeff, as my mentor would say, comes in. So, gentlemen, I just want to welcome everyone. Before I always get riffing right from the get-go, but I just want to welcome all the brothers on the Lions Den call. This is what we do every single week. We show up here 8 p.m. EST for 3 simple words. The first one is brotherhood. The only bond between men is when you are truly unified. The only time you look down at another man is when you're picking him back up. And if we have that mentality, it sets us in motion for the blessings from above. Whether you believe in God or you believe in religion or spirituality, understand that there is a higher power and there is an architect to our life. And that is the most incredible blessing that we can understand, that we are alive even on this call today. And of course, the breakthroughs. The breakthroughs may be something I say, gentlemen, tonight. It may be something one of you lions says. I'm going to encourage you towards the end of this call to start roar and to use this as a platform so you can start to articulate your thoughts, your emotions, and the way that you want to dominate the world. But before I do, again, I don't want this to be goal setting. I don't want this to be a whole, motivational and anything like that. What I do want to do, though, today is I do want to give some tactics. I want to give some very simple tactics on how you can dominate. Now, when I say dominate, I mean dominate in the world of money, wealth, and worth. As my great mentor, Richard Dolan, would say, money, wealth, and worth. Because if you can get right with your money, then you start to understand what the meaning of wealth is, preserving it, creating the legacy. But if you start to understand that, it then becomes the worth, which is internal, which is the actual fucking lion inside of you that has that roar and that's been caged for too long, that needs to uncage and come out and be able to just fucking roar. Because if you look at the animal kingdom, gentlemen, that's the lion's job. The lion's job is to roar as loud as he possibly can to scare the whole animal kingdom and make sure that nobody comes around the female lionesses that go out and hunt and kill for the lion. So it's a very interesting, that's why I chose the lion for a reason, because we have to start to understand we have power in our voice. The way that we communicate one-to-one, one-to-few, one-to-many is so important. And the way that you go out into the world with simple tactics, just techniques and tactics, little ways that you can play games with yourself mentally. When you're getting up 4 a.m. and you're like, I don't want to go to the gym, man. I really don't want to go to the gym. I did not want to go to the gym. I'll tell you, yesterday, the first of the year. Yeah, because I also did a week and a half off. A week and a half, I didn't touch the gym. I was on a cruise. I was enjoying being engaged. I didn't look at the gym. But getting back into that first day was like, shit. But it's like when you feel that pain, you have to understand that pain turns to pleasure if you can hold on long enough. And if you can have that pleasure long enough, guess what happens? Profit does come. But again, it's about holding on. And that's why we talked about that last week. I always bring back that quote that Elon Musk, man, it hits me every single time. Being an entrepreneur is like looking into the abyss and eating glass. Like I'm not going to get over that one, because I really truly think it's literally looking into the middle of nowhere every single day and then eating glass consistently. And I'm going to keep using that one, because I think half a $1 trillion man can give some great advice when it comes to that. So for the entrepreneurs in the room, for the investors in the room, for the working class Americans in the room, most of my guys are American here, but we got some global ones as well. First of all, I want to talk about the working class for a second. We got to respect the working class again. This is something that we're not doing in men's society right now. I understand things are going smarter and they're going technologically, all technologically advanced, but we need to really just honor the men that put their ass on the line every day to put up buildings that are at construction sites. Because I'll tell you right now, this generation isn't going to be doing that so much. We started to learn that you can make more money off of a laptop and an internet connection than you can working your ass for 25, 45 years. The world has changed. So how are we positioning ourselves correctly to making sure that regardless of what generation you're born in, regardless of how you were grown up and brought up, you still have a competitive edge. You're still ahead of the game. You still have the tactics and the tools in your tool belt, because that's really what it is. Money is just a tool. Money is a tool. And I'll tell you right now, hands up to this, money is probably the sharpest tool in your toolbox. Okay, I'm not saying you can't do, it is very hard to do much without it, but it is just a tool and we have to treat it like that. The minute that we start to focus on it too much and we lose course of what our purpose is and our direction is, and we focus on just making money, we lose ourselves. And as a lion, you don't want to ever lose yourself. I think about this now too, like when we see the difference. Now, just giving you a quick little background on myself too, coming from a commercial development, real estate space to now, having a mobile team across the globe and being able to, really conduct business from the comfort of our homes. The difference was this, it would take me about 18 to 24 months to buy a piece of land, to get permits, to get construction put on there. Cost me about $2.5 million. Because I'm in that range, right? $2.5 million. There would be over 100 construction workers that would somewhat come, the HVAC, the plumbers, the framers, we'd have the roofers, we'd have everything coming around, boom, 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 boom. But 18 to 24 months, that building gets sold for $3.5 million if I want to sell it. So yes, there's a $1 million profit margin in there, Yes, if I decide to keep the building, I'm making a 6 to 8% annual return. But what's interesting about this now is that I can do that same amount of effort, time, dedication of 18 to 24 months, hiring all the people, managing all the accounting, figuring out the permits in the city, hiring the consultants, and then being able to, from that point, being able to then switch over to a laptop. Switch over to a laptop now that I can now in the crypto markets, in the stock markets, in trading bots, in online digital things that have been created now presently, start generating 10% a month. Think about that. We have to start to understand that technology is here. AI is here. AI is already moving. Crypto is already moving when you start to see the markets and how fast. And when I'm talking about returns, and even in the crypto market, like quote these returns, but you know what I'm talking about. We're talking 1,000% returns in a very short amount of time. That's never been possible in the history of time. Forex was one of the most lucrative markets for a very long time because of the leverage that you could apply on it. But that leverage left a lot of people bankrupt because that leverage upside down can now throw your whole portfolio upside down because you're doing 100 to 1, 10 to 1, whatever it may be. But crypto allows you now to actually understand your own flow, your own individual way to invest in a global market, again, just simply using your cell phone and an internet connection. So again, how do we position ourselves? How do we start to understand that making money, if you think about making money is about learning how to raise it and how to invest it. If you can get good at those two things simple-handedly, learn how to raise it, communication skills, and learn how to invest, financial literacy and knowledge. That's the whole game, guys. That's what allowed me to be able to scale my portfolio to the 7-figure mark. I'm going to share a story in a little bit with you guys about kind of the trajectory of how I was able to go from 6 to 7 figures, almost creep on 8, fall back down, and then now build back up. Because there's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be losing $1 million here and losing 100,000 there, because that's the game of real estate. That's the game of entrepreneurship. It's just more numbers. Just like I said to you guys today, 2025. Yes, it's a New Year's, but all it is a new number. It's a new number that you're going to write at the back of your checks, because you should be writing checks. But when we start to think about this and we start to understand this, times have changed, gentlemen. Times have changed completely. Like if we think about it, my grandpa was born in India, okay? My grandpa was born in India. He was a farmer, okay? So as a farmer, what do? You wake up, you go out when the sun's out, you go and do the land, you take a little break because he told me this little break that they would take during, because the sun was too hot in India, and then you get back to work until the sun goes back down. You do that every single day. There's no questions asked. Like simple. For those that are strategic and know the 7th day, you always rest on the 7th day and the 7th crop cycle. But as a farmer in India, all he could understand in his mind was survival. Like all he could understand in his mind as a farmer there was like, if I don't go out and farm, guess what? My family's going to die. We're like, if there's no food on the table, we're dead. Like it's just that point blank clear. It's black and white. There's no, maybe I could figure it out. Maybe I could. No. It's just, if I don't go and do that, I will die. So some people in that era would be beaten at work and they would still go to work, because that was that generation. Then it switched over to somebody like my dad. Now, my dad moved from India to Canada, was able to immigrate to a brand new country and have that opportunity, which was incredible. But what did he do now? Working class, become a taxi driver. Start working taxi, start putting in hours, save as much money as you can, eat nothing, like eat $2-3 a day, right? Basically just our little bread and our little, like our vegetable stuff on the side. Like that's it. And saving money, because what was he then going for? His generation was all taught, and then he went into entrepreneurship that allowed him to have a business. So whether it was business or even working class, regardless, that generation still was the standard of living. It was, how can I make enough money? How can I be able to have a house and have payments on my car and be able to just showcase a nice little white picket fence and say, you know what, I made it. I'm married. I got 2 kids. I got a car, I got a house. I'm doing pretty good. I just want to be able to stabilize that, get the kids to college. And I think I've done well. Work my 40 years, retire on benefits. Boom. That was the era of standard of living. Now, see, gentlemen, our era that we are living in now, my generation now coming down as the third generation of Dahan, is different. You see, in my generation now, it's a bit different because what do we call ourselves now? Entrepreneurs and influencers. We went from farmers to taxi driver to business owner to now me going, I'm an entrepreneur and an online influencer. Because what am I chasing now? What is my generation? What is this generation right now that we are living in going for? It's not survival anymore. It's not the standard of living. What it truly is now is the quality of life. This generation is now dependent on the quality of life. How am I waking up? What am I looking at? This view. This is a very expensive view. I will tell you guys this now. This is my balcony right here. This balcony is huge. It wraps around the whole side. This is a very expensive view. I don't need it. You know, I don't always go on here, and I'm usually doing work somewhere else. But why do I do it? Because it's my quality of life. Because I want to not only just feel that I have a home as security, I want a home with a nice view now. I want a home somewhere where I get to put my nice couches and have my painting on the wall, and I get woo when I walk in. Quality of life. And it does not matter which generation you have been born into or which generation you're even living in. Regardless of that, there's three fundamental truths that allow you to still position correctly when it comes to some of these massive changes that happen. Whether it's generational changes like that, whether it's not. I want us to understand this. Which era you were born in is irrelevant, but the one you're living in is the most important. Adapting and adopting some of the things that are happening in this world doesn't mean that you got to go recreate the wheels and you got to learn a bunch of this fucking AI and all this stuff and crypto and stuff. No, there's ways to position that. There's ways to position that. But if we can't get clear on these three things that I'm going to share today with you guys, it's very, very difficult. And over my years of understanding the game of real estate, the game of business, the game of investments, I've been able to truly understand that if it does not start with organization, it doesn't make sense. Organization is the key. Now, obviously, you're looking at me, you're like, Jay, of course, man. I could be more organized, man. I'm already a guy. You know how hard is it to organize myself, let alone organize everything else? True. But organizing time is so important. Organizing time is the first thing you have to organize, because if you can't organize time, nothing else will make sense. This is a hard lesson to learn, because now you're like looking at me going, yeah, Jay, sure, calendarize, right? Absolutely calendarize. And calendarization means this: put it in your calendar. Yes. Put it in your calendar. Hold accountability to it, but not for the future, gentlemen, for the past. This is the key trick. This is the key trick about a calendar that makes it so much more powerful than we think, because most of us use a calendar to plan our future. What's my day looking like today? What's my day looking like tomorrow? How's my day looking like next week? I got that meeting that I got to go to, and I got that trip that I'm booking, and then I got this, and I'm always booking my calendar into the future. But if you actually learn the trick to managing time, I'm going to tell you to go back. I'm going to tell you to go into the past. I'm going to tell you to go back and actually evaluate. See, if you record everything and you actually keep track of it every single day, just like your diet, your macros, right? Same thing with your time. If you were managing where I was sleeping, where I was chilling, where did I actually work? What did I actually get done? Oh, I went on that double date. I went, okay, perfect. Okay. When I go and backtrack those logs now, looking at it from a 2024 perspective, I go and backlog and see, what was I actually devoting my time to? Interesting. What did I want to be devoting my time to, percentage-wise? My business, my family, the life, what is it called? Work-life balance bullshit that everyone talks about. No. Like, if I reverse engineer and I actually look at my past now, it starts to give me data. I get data points now. Okay, interesting. I noticed this routine on Saturdays. I put in blocks. I remember putting in a lot of blocks to do work, but then it turned into, sitting at the bar. It turned into Sunday watching too much football. It turned into, but then you get to measure it. That's the key first takeaway that I want to give, because I always talk about calendar. I'll tell you right now, like a situation even happened at work today. I sent an employee home. I was like, boom, like you don't have your calendar right, you're going home. Like that's how serious I am in the business world on my team, on how focused I need them to be. But I want you guys to think of that as in your life, right? Calendarization is so important. Put it in your calendar and then start reverse engineering. It's going to give you that insights. The second thing I really want to share with you guys is organizing finance. Organizing your finances is very key. First of all, nobody teaches finances. This is why I we're going to talk a little bit about the Next Gen Academy at the end of this call, but I want you guys to really understand finances is not taught. I have friends that have master's degrees in finance that don't know how to balance their own books. I'm like, how am I ever going to be able to trust just because you have a degree now, but you don't even know how to manage your own stuff? So this is simple. Let's take it back to just a notebook. As you may have a calendar you're going to use as a tool. Your tool is the calendar for the first one. Your second one is have a notebook, and open up a brand new notebook, a fresh notebook, write finances on it, and then put a nice giant like a plus sign in the middle of the page. And all you're going to simply do is write down assets, everything that you own, liabilities, everything that you owe, income, everything that you make, and expenses, everything that you spend in a month. At bare minimum. I could go into assessments. We can go into all different things and financial tools that you can use, calculators, figuring out net worth, all this, as simple as just knowing those numbers like the back of your hand. Like we're doing a whole compilation now. I have my accounting team doing a whole one for the whole year. And we get so nitty gritty and categorize each expense. I have a team that does that, but I'm saying for you as a person, as for you as an individual, if you are not simply clear on like, okay, this is what I own. I have my house, I have my car. Okay, there's a mortgage there, payment here. Okay, perfect. I make, 3,000 earned income. And then I have, X amount of dollars coming from my business. And then all of a sudden here's my expenses and boom. Just as simple as just doing a cross T, because there's three things that you want. The 3 B's, like I like to say, when you organize finance, 3 B's. The first thing is your bank balance. Your bank balance needs to have a threshold on it. When I say threshold, I mean, if you have $1, you need to make $1 your threshold. If you got $10,000 sitting in your bank account, guess what? 10,000 needs to become a minimum threshold. That means if I go to $9,999, that means I'm negative $1 now. And what happens is you may start with $1, you may go to 10, you may go to 100, then you're going to have 1,000, then you're going to have 10,000. Then it could even sit there at 100, a million, 10 million, 100 million, and we can go all the way up. I wouldn't suggest that after that point, to be honest, is because that should not be sitting in a bank account. So I'm going to reverse myself and say, well, we're going to cap it at about $1 million. Okay. More than $1 million, come talk to me. We're going to position that the right way. But what I'm saying is having a minimum threshold allows you to start to mentally train yourself outside of credit card debt bullshit. Like credit cards, great. You have them, you can use them. You get a little dangerous with them. I'm even dangerous. My Amex bill came out, a $36,000 Amex bill. What the hell did we do? Oh, anyways, that was my own situation. But like credit cards are fucking dangerous. And you're like, no, I want the points though. I'll just throw it on the card because I'll get the points. I'm like, that's some girl math bullshit. That's some wife math. My wife comes home, she's like, oh yeah, so there was a great discount on this dress. It's a $500 dress and it was $100 off. That's a whole 20%. I'm like, babe, you still spent $400. Like regardless of your 20% discount, you still spend the more, right? That's some girl math right there. But I want you guys to know bank balance is so important. Creating that threshold is super important because again, it mentally starts to train you on knowing that if I go $1 below that, I'm in the negatives without actually physically being. Another cool trick that I was doing, JC remembers this one when we first met, maybe he'll share it a little bit later too, is, I have $100 bill in my wallet at all times. It's just this, and it's folded up. It's folded up. You'll never pull it out. Like it's like emergency. And you just keep it in there. And you always know at any moment, like you have $100, you're worth 100. So even times when you're actually feeling like, oh, I don't have money, or I don't have this, or I don't have that, like you can now still worth 100. 100 is still my minimum, still my threshold. I still got my threshold, regardless of what position you may be in. So that's a tactic. The second B, you need to become the bank. You need to become your own bank. That is so key. Something recently I've started to learn about is an IUL, and we can go into details about what an IUL is, but it is infinite banking. is becoming your own bank. To a capacity of being your own bank means that I can invest into something, create an asset out of that, i.e. being a policy. Then I can borrow money and then put it back in to make more. So I can borrow money, exactly what the banking system is all about, right? General bank loans out interest to other banks. Banks then take it, come give it to us. They'll take my $10,000. They'll take it into I go and deposit it into the bank. They leave $1,000 in there. They go lend 9,000 out at 19.9 at 36%. And then they pay me less than 1%. That is banking. You have to get yourself that is more powerful than passive income, or residual income, or like all that stuff. Like that stuff is great when you got money and you want to spend $100,000, $1 million on a real estate project. That makes sense. But if you're not at that level, you need to get to a point where you are starting to understand, how do I become my own bank? How am I able to raise money and then invest it, even in the same asset, like in the same company, whatever it is, but being able to leverage, just being able to make a percent or two. Because that 1 or 2% is going to start to add up. And that 1 or 2% is going to start to compound. And that's going to start giving you some benefits outside of the world of just the 401ks and all the, I don't know, we call them GICs and all this other government bond bullshit that's out there. Make sense? So being your own bank is the second one. The last one, I want to throw this last one in. Buy some crypto. Buy some crypto. I'm going to talk to y'all real about this. Buy some fucking crypto, okay? If you are not sophisticated and you do not understand the crypto game, simply just get a Coinbase wallet and buy Bitcoin. Whether it's $500, whether it's $1,000, whatever it is, just hold some Bitcoin, because it is going to go eventually over $1 million. You probably have a chance of 10xing your money. Like, it's just that simple. It may take a little bit of time now, but at the end of the day, it's inevitable. It's a commodity and it's not moving anywhere. It's just simple. If you like to dabble a little bit and you like to have a nice little risk profile and you want to jump into XRP or ADA, you look into a couple of the Cardanos and the Ripples of the world. Those are ones that I'm playing with. And I'm not giving y'all advice on it. I'm just telling you what I'm investing in, because I just, I like to dabble in little pieces. I'm not too heavy on crypto, but what I am is I got a lot of friends that are in it. I got a lot of very successful people that have made hundreds of millions of dollars in the crypto game, that literally live in penthouses around here, that have given me insight. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Fair enough. I'll just put 10,000 there, a little 10,000 there, and just kind of let it kind of accumulate. So buy some crypto. Buy some crypto. The last organizational piece that I want to give you guys today, and this is the one that took me the longest, and it's the hardest one, because we all want it. Regardless of if it's today or if it's tomorrow, we all want it. And it's organizing opportunities. Organizing opportunities is one of the hardest things you can do, because everybody has an opportunity to sell you. There is something out there that's going to make you think or get impulsive and say, wow, that's the next thing. Trust me, take it from a guy that has done it with every program, every course, every 10x workshop, everything I could consume and get my hands on. $10,000, $20,000, $5,000, $1,000, $100, $50, $40. Oh, I'll join your subscription. I'll see how your product is. I got products even laying around just because I see an Instagram ad. I'll be like, let me check it out. Like that new bowling ball thing. Have you guys seen that, where you're punching the little ball thing? Yeah, I bought one of those. Of course. You just got to try it out. I was like, yo, shit, RFK is doing it, man. Let's just, Dr. Phil is doing it. Man, they got some good publicity on this. This is a good advertisement. I'll pick a couple of those up. Going back to this, though, organizing opportunities, see, there's so much stuff. And even Richard Branson said it. Richard Branson said, look, if I get presented 100 opportunities, I'm going to say no to 99 of them. So first of all, get good at saying no, because we say yes way too much. We say yes to helping people. We say yes to, oh yeah, I can do it. Yeah, sure. Maybe, yeah, maybe I'll sit down and listen to it. Oh, it's going to be new. I'm going to make how much? Yeah, maybe we should sit down. Maybe, yeah, I'll talk to the wife and we can start allocating. Organize deal flow. Organizing deal flow, and outside of just deal flow, opportunities. I'm talking about people. Like, how do you organize people? How are you organizing the people in your phones? How are you organizing just reaching out to somebody on their birthday and saying happy birthday? Or in this case, sure, let's take advantage of the Merry Christmas and the Happy Holidays and the Happy New Year. But how are you organizing to know who your power players are that with one connection can change the trajectory? How do you know the people that are just good friends and family that you want to stay consistent with? Sometimes we get busy in our lives. Like, so there's families in England that I don't talk to, and it's been years. There's also family drama, and that comes with every family. But at the end of the day, there's certain people in your life that you want to keep forefronted, and you want to be able to organize people and opportunities. Because if you can start to organize people and opportunities, sometimes, gentlemen, like I was speaking about last week, guess what? All you got to do is put those two together and sit back and enjoy and collect. You don't need to be the entrepreneur all the time with the products and the services to go out there in the world. You can transact without other people, without other things. Going back to my laptop example, 100 men it took to build my building, $2.5 million over 18 to 24 months. And I could make the same return in probably half that time by myself, sitting on an island somewhere in the world. That's the difference in the game that we are now playing. Now, I'm not trying to knock real estate. We're doing some incredible things right now. We have a new client actually that builds $1 million homes here in Florida that we are now collaborating with. It's a $30 million company. He wants to scale it to 190 million within the next 24 to 36 months. And he has now chosen us, Next Gen Wealthy, as the team to be able to raise that capital, situate his events, and be able to take his company now to the next level. Because like for me, I just need 1 or 2 clients. I need 1 or 2 or 5 people, and that could change the trajectory of my life. I don't need to sit here and actually go, well, that's why we're offering everything like free. That's why you're jumping on this call. That's why you're coming to just flow with us, because until you're at a level of $10,000 to $100,000 that you want to invest in something proper that's going to allow you to now accelerate that wealth creation, that's when we can talk. Until then, let's just have a conversation and become the brothers that we are. So when we organize people, going back to that, organizing people and opportunities comes to a system. So as you had the notebook for your finances, as you had the calendar as your tool for time, this one is more derived around a system so that you can track it and keep it and contain it and know where you want to play and who you want to play with. And I'll tell you honestly, like that literally was the biggest key for me on taking the empire that I had. So I'll give you guys a quick little brief story actually on how I was able to actually move from 6 to 7 figures. And it was all because I was gifted, actually. I was gifted a home. And I know that sounds crazy. It's like a Donald Trump story. Like, his dad gave him $1 million loan. Obviously he's a billionaire. Like, people say that all the time. I'm like, shit, fair enough. I don't think it's not that easy, but I was gifted a home. It was about a $650,000 home, like shy of about $700,000. Okay, this house was under my name. My dad used my name to make sure that he didn't pay tax on it. Indian brown, and classic move. I got it in my hands. I was like, you know what, Dad? I want this house. Like, give me this house. Give me this as an opportunity. This is after, a little troubled teen past, and I had a couple of years behind my belt now. I found a mentor, started working on real estate, understanding it. So I got gifted this house. Now, my initial play could have been, how do I organize this? How do I organize my time? Yeah, sure. How do I organize my numbers? Sure. But I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. So in this case, the only thing that I could do is slow down and manage the opportunity. I had a house in my hand. Let's just call it $700,000. Okay. I'm going to sell this house. I'm going to get that money. Should I do the same thing that they did? Do I buy another lot and build another home and then sell that one and see if I can make a little bit more? Couple 100,000, and then we get to the next one and the next one. Was that my opportunity and thought pattern? No, the opportunity came again from a very, very, God rest his soul, Jannah, one of my first powerful real estate mentors. And he taught me this. He said, no, he's like, you have to look for the right opportunities. We found a house, still a house, in a small city outside of our city. It was a kind of a broken down house. There was a house next to it that was also like a bit of a crack house. And then there was a third one that was kind of decent. So we picked up the two. We took the $700K and we bought the two. We bought the 2 homes. Now the guy next to us, he had a house there, and we're like, look, let's just negotiate a deal. Even though I couldn't afford that one. I only bought the 2, but I needed all 3 because that was a really good piece of land. And I was like, this could be something different. We ended up negotiating a deal with him, raising a bit of capital, went up to another investor. Hey, we just need to borrow $250,000. We're going to secure it on this land, first position. Let's get that in. Boom. We buy all 3 pieces of land. We go to the city. We go talk to the city. Hey, city, we just took these 3 pieces. McDonald's right next to it. You got Dairy Queen right next to it. We want to tear these 3 homes down. We want to build a small commercial strip mall. We think it's needed in the city. From there, I was able to actually build that strip mall up And that ended up being a $3.5 million strip mall there. That was one of our great deals. But in between that deal is where I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about risk. Because while we were doing that, all money into this project. We're now starting construction. We're working with the bank to now do construction financing to get this all going, to go through the whole process of building this first strip mall. In between that, deal opportunity comes up. There's another building existing, already has tenants, already built up, commercial strip mall, 2.3 million. We're in the middle of construction right now. We're focusing on our one baby. I just took one house into 3 small homes. We got bank funding, which was incredible. And we started and we're doing this. $2.3 million building over here was a really, really good deal, really good opportunity. Now, again, opportunities are you have to be very careful on opportunities, because now this opportunity looks really good, but I got to make sure that I got something guaranteed afterwards. But how do you guarantee something in real estate? You have to take a chance and actually hope for the fucking best is what you got to do. Really, sometimes, especially when you've done your due diligence, we ran the numbers, we ran the geographic area. We knew what we were getting ourselves into. We knew it was a good deal. We did the due diligence, and that's another key there. We were about to pick it up. 700,000 is what we needed down payment at that time. We're in 350. We found a partner at 350. 350 was we were maxed. We were maxed at 350. Partner falls through. Last minute, we've already put down $100,000 deposit. We're going to lose about 50 of it. We're like, what do we do? What do we do? I still remember, I was like, I got to raise money. I got to raise money somehow. I even went into my parents. I went to the living room. I was like, yo, call the banks right now. Increase credit cards, increase credit limits. See, this is a bank that you have to take on yourself when you are clear on the numbers that you can hit. If that was done foolishly, I'll tell you a lot of foolish stories. I'll tell you a lot of 200,000 building a retail business that went to nowhere. The opportunity was there. It was a cannabis before this, but I'll tell you that one opportunity, 2.3 million, we actually ended up raising our credit cards. We ended up getting the 350. We put down the 700. We bought it for 2.3. And then we ended up having a cash offer at 3.1, which I ended up messing up on. And I've shared this story with the Lions a couple of times, where I actually got too excited that I closed a massive deal and I was so young and I was doing my thing. And I forgot to sign on Friday when he wanted me to sign. And on Monday, I was like, oh, don't worry. It's Monday. Let's get this done. It's an all cash offer. He's like, Jay, the offer now changes to 2.95. You want to sign it? Fucking signed it and ran. Lost 150,000 that day. 150,000 that weekend to go and party with my friends because I thought I was too cool writing $1 million deals in my early 20s. So remember, opportunities can come. Opportunities can be there if you do the right due diligence. You can be strategic. If you don't, sometimes you can fall. You can fall shy. And that's the inevitable truth with it. So I wanted you guys to just really understand that from a risk perspective is you got to really know your risk profile. You got to know how much you're willing to lose and how much you're willing to risk. And if you have that clear and you can organize your time, you can organize your you can organize your time, you can then organize your finances, and then ultimately organize those opportunities. It's going to allow you to succeed in different ways. Now, gentlemen, I just want to see who's in the room because I see Jack in the house coming in. I see Alex in the house, my guy, Julian, Keyshawn. We got Caesar in the house as well too, man. Eddie Evans, my guy. Brulio, good to see you, my guy. We got to connect this week, Brulio. It's big things coming up. But gentlemen, I want to bring this to a bit of a conclusion now because I want to open this up. I want to understand that, look, when I do these calls, I want to give value. And I want you guys to also understand today I had somebody that was going to be coming in, but he wasn't able to make it today because Lions Den is changing up its vibe. It's awesome for me to come up and share. And I love at the end of this call, when I get a couple of you guys now to be able to chime in, share a question, say a comment or two, really uncage that roar, give yourself this platform to utilize. But I'm going to start switching up the vibe with Lions Den and bringing in some very key players that have helped me not only mentor me, coach me, some of the most profound leaders actually in today's day, as well as bringing in some experts in the field when it comes to investments, when it comes to real estate, when it comes to finance, when it comes to crypto. Some of these incredible people, I was just downstairs earlier with Ric Flair. It's always my go-to. I'm doing dry January, so I ain't drinking this month. it's like I was down there sitting there with my mocktail and just sitting down. They got Ric Flair's in the house. We're all just chilling there and everything like that. So the powerful people that I know, I want to make sure that they can now come into the Lions Den and actually support you guys so that you guys can ask them questions and actually learn from them as well too. So get ready for some amazing stuff that is going to come on, because what we do here every week, we're here to learn, we're here to connect. Of course we are, but truly we're here to uncage our roars. So gentlemen, Lions, Kings in the room. The time has come. The mark has hit. Thank you guys for being here on Lions Den, episode number 101. Are we at 101? We're at 101 or 100? 100. It's 100. Yeah, straight 100. Today's episode 100. 100 episodes go down. Ba-bam. Let's go. Thank y'all for being here. I cannot wait to see you next week on the Lions Den, 8 p.m. EST. Take care, brothers. Blessed.